10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good golly, Miss Molly. Welcome back to that 70s rock fan, another edition of It's Only Talk and Roll, where we celebrate the music we love and sometimes the music we hate.
Why would we celebrate music we hate?
Well, we may talk about it. It was.
I just don't show up on shows that you're playing stuff that I'm not hot about.
I know, that's why you're very
Every
rarely
time
here.
you do a Rush show, guess who's not going to be here?
Yeah. Well, that was a meme I saw the other day, which I think I shared, which was the English teacher asking the guy, who wrote Tom Sawyer? And the guy goes, Rush.
Rush.
He was expecting a different answer.
And the picture's like, and the teacher's like, it was that guy. I saw the same one. It was the guy from
I couldn't recognize
Impractical Jokers.
All right, yeah.
Right? And he was sitting there going, like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, but anyway, welcome to the show today. We're going to talk about something that happened 40 years ago. It feels like yesterday, except 40 years ago. It was one of the most celebrated events in rock history happened with the Live Aid charity gigs for the Ethiopian famine relief, and possibly even the biggest concerty thing ever.
Probably the biggest benefit ever for that cause.
Certainly in terms of television audience, it's like the third most televised thing in human history.
Indeed.
The television audience and the number of acts that played.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to look at some of those stats because they are quite fun.
It's either 3 or 4. I can't remember whether it's above or behind the Kennedy assassination, but it's like the moon landing, Beatles on Ed Sullivan,
but the Kennedy assassination, they only tuned in after.
Right.
They weren't watching live.
They were watching the Zapruder
Because if they were watching live, that would have been a bit suspicious.
Well, yeah. Although sometimes they did televised parades and stuff like that. And
True, but who would care about that? But yeah, there's a number of other famous events that were televised. We'll talk a little bit about that. So we're going to talk about the legacy of Live Aid. We're going to stay on the positive side. There's been a few negative things over the years, but analyze its cultural and musical impact. I'm very interested in the musical impact. And look back with some nostalgia for us old people who were actually alive at the time, and also a fresh perspective for those who may have not even been a fetus yet.
Yeah.
Pope.
Pope. Yeah.
This was right about that time. This is what, summer 85? So
actually, there's only one panelist that saw it live. Because I saw it 2 weeks later.
I saw it live. Well, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we're going to get into that. So, and I was hoping we'd be joined by the Rock and Roll Rowdies, one of whom Mal Craggs played a key part in it. Our friends on the Rowdies, and we are broadcasting on the Rowdies channel as well. But alas, technical difficulties have kept them, including extreme old age, have kept them from joining. So, but we'll certainly talk about our friend Mal Craggs is part of this. So before we get started, I'll welcome everybody in the chat. I see lots of people here already, many of whom may have watched as well. We're hoping Courtney will join us. She said she's going to join us later. She was at the gig in Philly. So D. Bud Martin for a $5 super chat. Live Aid was the peak of MTV. It was downhill all the way from there. A fantastic music event, though. And I do want to talk about the music aspect of it because there was some good, there was some bad, and there was some ugly. But thank you very much for that, D-Bud. Obviously, for that, you will get some kind of recompense in the form of a video. Here's an act that was not featured, although they were at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert.
It's still a stupid.
It's such a fine line between stupid and
clever.
Yeah,
It's just a little turnabout.
So thank you, D-Bud. We'll come back to the chat in just a second, but we have indeed with us a rock and roll rowdy, Mark. How are you, sir?
What's up?
Good to see you, mate. We're all right. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Sorry I'm a bit late getting on. I was clicking away on a vocal track trying to get rid of all the clicks and stuff like that. So
all right. So you click to get rid of clicks.
I'm trying to get rid of clicks.
We want clicks online. We want clicks. Thank you for being here, my friends. Good to see you.
Yeah. I don't have an awful lot to, join in or contribute to the Live Aid thing, except for a couple of things. I was in America at the time, and I think I was still working with the Average White Band back in '85.
Yeah.
I got up really early to watch it because obviously it was live. I think it was on PBS. I don't think it was on a major channel.
Well, the MTV did broadcast it. ABC did have a broadcast. I don't know about PBS. They may have broadcast as well, but that was part of the issue because they all played certain bits of it and didn't play some songs or missed some stuff completely. So you didn't get the full picture depending on where you were watching it, So
I got the English part anyway. That was pretty much continuous.
Yeah.
Up until until later in the evening, wasn't it? It wasn't until the evening time that the US took over.
Yeah. It was 12 noon UK time it started, although the TV coverage started earlier. And I think it must have been similar in the Philly side, must have started 12 noon Eastern time, I imagine, roundabout. Yeah, so, but we'll get your impressions in a few minutes, my friend, absolutely. I did want to just say thank you to Keto, our great friend Dustin, who can't be here today, unfortunately. $5 super chat from Dustin. Miss you all listening in. Thank you very much, my friend. We do miss you too. Looking forward to streaming with you again soon. And you too will get some kind of a celebratory video. I'll get a little bit of Courtney, even though she's not here. We always love to celebrate our friend Courtney, and there she is on stage.
Right.
Shaking it loose, as REO Speedwagon would say.
By the way, whenever you want them, buddy, our good friend Tim sent me a message with a list of the most watched events, and this is number 6.
All right. We'll get to that when we get to the stats. Yeah, for sure. I do want to. So there is a live. I'm doing this goal thing that they do on YouTube. I've got 2 out of 5 super chats so far. If I can get 5 super chats, you all get the thrill of sharing. I'll share some more puppy images with you from my puppy.
Do it.
So we need 3 more. It doesn't have to be a big one, just a tiny little one. But what you will get though right now is I'm going to share a picture of what I looked like on the day of Live Aid.
Hey.
Now look at that stud.
Yeah.
Look at that handsome stud in 1985.
I wouldn't recognize it under all the hair.
That's the weirdest picture. My forehead looks so big. So that's kind of what I looked like at the time. But just before we really get started, I want to continue saying hello to everybody in the chat. We've got, let's see who we got. We got DJ Play Nice. This is on YouTube. Obviously, we're out on Rumble, Twitter, and Rock and Roll Rowdies YouTube as well. DJ Play Nice, Tim FKHC is here. D Bud Martin modding away. Thank you, sir. We have some other people. Let us keep. Snorty's here. Good to see you, Snorty. We had Vince Womack. Greetings to you too, Vince. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Hardest working mod in the business.
Yeah, indeed. Davina, thank you, Davina, for being here. Another great mod. Clay's here. Good to see you, buddy. If I miss anybody, forgive me. There are others, I'm sure. Zax was here. I know it's 11 Alpha. Good to see you, sir. Low Spec Linux is here. Christian, good to see you, Christian. If you're not busy, you can always jump on. Zax, as I said, my great buddy from fellow Canadian, Brian Adams flew the flag at the Philly one for Canada. And anyone else? Agent Pepsi One. Good to see you, Agent Pepsi One. Snorty says hello, Mark. So hello. How are you, Mark? Hello. Dustin, we mentioned, is here. Obviously, Streamlabs is here, which is always good. Soul Assassin. I know I'm going to miss somebody. Courtney's checking into the hotel. She has to go to a hotel to do the show, which is weird. She could just stay at home. Right. She prefers to go out to a hotel. I guess it's that kind of experience, you know.
She's high maintenance. What can
you do? If we miss anybody, forgive me. What I want everybody in the chat to do, though, is through the show, is at certain times we'll be asking to share your impressions, your memories of the day if you were alive, the good, the bad, the indifferent. We'll try and cover as much of those things as possible. Obviously, if you hit that super chat goal, that will help because I read those first. So, listen to me begging.
You're not
right. Before we start, I have a montage. I just didn't do it for the opening video because I ran out of time. I didn't attach it to the intro. We have a Live Aid montage carefully put together for copyright purposes. So let's check out just a little bit of the stuff from the day.
And now, to start the 16 hours of Live Aid, would you welcome Status Quo?
So a small collection of clips. You'd never get them all. There's hundreds of acts. Some of my favorites. I just have to pay tribute to Tony Iommi and Rob Halford for wearing so much black leather in that heat. That must have been a lot of chafing that day.
Intense.
And
all I can think when I'm watching that is how old are we now, man? Because half the people we just saw are gone.
Sadly.
Very sadly, but it's some excellent moments. I didn't cover everything. It's some of my favorites.
You couldn't.
No, but we'll show the list of acts in a minute that were there, and we'll talk about some of the stats. Yeah, the American one was crazy. It was like Billy Ocean and then Black Sabbath, Run DMC, Rick Springfield. It just went up and down.
Every genre of music represented damn near.
What the thing? Sorry, go ahead, Pope.
It was an interesting time for a lot of the metal bands too, because Sabbath was kind of between singers at the moment, but they got Ozzy back to do this one show.
Yeah.
And that kind of sparked a lot of rumors that Ozzy was coming back.
No.
That just never happened. And Priest was at the height of their powers at this
point.
Yeah,
they were. 85? You kidding me? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was interesting to see a couple of metal acts there, which the Hooters did play at the Philly one. There was it was a very strange mixture of the cream pinnacle of much of classic rock from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and some very current 80s artists, which we'll see when we see the list of stuff in 78.
Watching that montage, though, I'm sitting here wondering how many people did Phil Collins play with that day?
He played
a
with
lot
himself twice. He's got a lot of stamina. Played with himself twice.
Who's he playing for there where you saw Eric Clapton?
He played for Eric Clapton and Led Zeppelin.
And Led Zeppelin. I knew him and Toby Thompson did.
And there's a story there.
Yeah.
Wow. So let's a lot of people. Let's start to get into it a little bit. If I can figure out how to get this to work. That's not the picture I was trying to show. That's something else.
Well, Black Sabbath have just done a comeback show in the UK last week.
Well, indeed. They did that big end of the road type thing, farewell thing,
I mean, 40 years ago, and they're still doing the same shit, rocking away, and still in black leather as well.
Yeah.
And I think Tony still has the mustache, too.
Yes, he does. He keeps it in a jar on his desk. Two gigs, obviously, Wembley and JFK, ton of acts. I've got a closer look at those acts coming up later. Tickets were £25 and a 50p booking fee in London. How about that? And then an alternative version of the poster.
Yeah, I'm mad.
Indeed.
Great poster.
Yeah. Great logo, period. It was
indeed.
Awesome.
The Wembley crowd looking very red for some reason. And then the Philly crowd. I've studied this crowd closely and I couldn't see Courtney once.
Was she there?
She's there. She was in that crowd. I've looked at all the crowd footage. I don't see her once. I was looking at all the girls that were shaking it and I couldn't see her once.
You were.
Yeah. So mainly the driving force behind this, I mean, we don't want too much history. I'd really talk about the music, but we're Bob Geldof and Scotsman Midge Ure, who often gets overlooked as part in this, co-writer of the Do They Know It's Christmas song and co-producer, and also heavily involved in organising this with Bob Geldof. Bob got the knighthood, Midge probably got an OBE, so it was a lesser award. Various suggestions were made after the success of Do They Know It's Christmas, the charity single they came up with. That why don't we do a live gig? And at first, Bob Geldof said, because I think it was Boy George of Culture Club, said, let's do a live, whatever. And Bob said, well, if you want to organise it, I'll call me, I'll be there. He ended up having to organise it, of course, because nobody else would probably do it. But Midge both played on the day there as well. Midge Ure was playing with Ultravox, who he was with at the time.
Now, who was Geldof? He was the lead man for a band at the
Boomtown Rats.
That's it.
Who were also there that day.
Never can remember the name of that band for him.
Irish band, Diddly 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 Potatoes.
Hey, take it easy.
Now, I'm very fond of Midge Ure. Not personally, we've never kissed, but I'm very fond of him because not only did he start in the band called Slick, which Mark might remember in the 70s. Great band, Forever and Ever, huge hit. Then he was in various sort of post-punk and punk things. Then was in Ultravox, who had massive hits like Vienna. Then saw a successful solo career, but he also did a stint in Thin Lizzy, for which he'll forever be famous in metal circles for. So,
right.
So Midge is a good lad. So some of the key stats over seven. Now there was concerts in other parts of the world, but the two big ones are obviously Wembley and JFK. But I know in Australia, Russia, other countries, they had gigs too. Australia, they had NXS playing and stuff. So over 70 artists and bands performed at the two main venues. The live broadcast, I at the time, I think was the biggest, 150 countries with a global audience, potential audience estimated at 1.5 to 1.9 billion people.
Amazing.
Oh, it's amazing when you think about it. Wembley Stadium held 72,000 people. JFK 89 to 100,000 people. Obviously, there's some people sneaked in there because there's a big difference between those two numbers.
I was fixing to say, and look, the Wembley Stadium one, I don't know if it's just an optical illusion, but it just looked like there were more people at that point.
It did.
It really did.
Now, I've been to a gig there. I saw the Stones there in 1982, and well, I say I saw them. I couldn't see bugger all because it was so short and the stage was so far away. I heard them. Loudness played in Tokyo. That would have been good. Yeah, I love Loudness. Tim was also, it's in the chat, has also been to Wembley for some soccer related. And of course, that Wembley is now gone, ripped down, and a new one was built
Really?
for safety reasons, which is a shame because it was a grand old stadium which saw a lot of great stuff, apart from the World Cup, the England one in '66, which they should have torn it down immediately after that because that's such a heinous win.
Oh.
As a Scotsman. So it raised apparently it raised $100 million in cash at the time, but up to $245 million with media sales and other stuff.
It was globally broadcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was
Simultaneously. So that rarely happens. We've got the technology to do that, but how often does it happen? I mean, it happened for the Beatles doing "All You Need Is Love." They did that globally.
Well.
But, what else is globally broadcast?
So the One World thing. So this was in '85, and it used 13 satellites and 22 transponders. So the Beatles thing in 1967, June '67, was called Our World, and it was broadcast to something like 15 countries.
Is that all it was?
And had about a 400 to 700 million people watching. It was broadcast in 24 countries, but only 14 countries put something into that. And that used 4 satellites to provide coverage worldwide. And that's where the Beatles famously performed All You Need Is Love. Probably the first globally televised event, not a charity event, of course.
I think it was, because in 1967, wow.
Yeah. So that was pretty...
Going back to my era.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I remember before '85, I remember there was probably more stuff. Forgive me, the chat might know. I remember Elvis's Aloha from Hawaii being globally broadcast.
Yes.
You're older than what you admit, then.
I am. I've got the Blu-ray. That was a global broadcast, and I think there may have been certain sporting events that started to do that, like boxing particularly, which was huge.
Well, number 5 on the list above this is the Leon Spinks Muhammad Ali fight.
Yes.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those were huge.
The Olympics is another one.
Give me the list that Tim sent you. Just
okay. It's from Watch Mojo. Number 6. Of course, this is. There's 20 of them, but I'm just gonna
Live Aid
go
is
above
6 on
Live
that
Aid.
list.
It's number 6, and it concurs with your number here, 1.9 billion people.
Wow.
The next one is 2 billion people. Leon Spinks versus Muhammad Ali. Number 4. There's like 3 funerals here, man. The funeral of Michael Jackson, 2.5 billion people watched that.
Really? Wow.
Yep. The funeral of Princess Di, 2.5 billion.
That I can believe.
Yeah. The 1996 Summer Olympics opening ceremony, 3.5 billion, a clear billion above those 2 funerals. And number 1 is the state funeral of Elizabeth II. 4 billion people watched that.
Wow. Now, I think all of those, I'm not sure about the Spinks Ali fight, but all of those are later than this.
Yes.
So at the time,
and I believe I'm pretty sure. Let me see the Spinks fight. I'm sure I'm looking for the year. Hang on, I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, I'll look it up real quick. It's not listed here. I'll look it up.
So Bob Geldof from Midyear basically put this together in 10 weeks with a lot of help from Harvey Goldsmith, British promoter, and a guy called Michael C. Mitchell in America. And I mean there was a lot of jiggery pokery because what he would do, Geldof, was he'd ring up Elton John and say, "Well, I've already got Queen and David Bowie." So he'd say, "Well, I better play." Then he'd ring up Queen and say, "Well, I've got David Bowie and Elton John." And
play to their egos, right? Yeah.
So, and we're going to take a look at who took part and who didn't take part. And Michael Jackson was mentioned there. Michael Jackson didn't take part, despite being one of the biggest stars on the planet.
Oh my God!
Even at that time, yeah. So
it was actually Spinks Muhammad Ali 2. And it was in 1978, so it's the only one on the list that was
the only one that's before this,
Yep.
But it's still an incredible effort, technically, which we'll talk about a bit. And Mark would know just some of what it takes to put one band on,
right?
Or even a festival, which Mark's done many of. But to do these and to broadcast it to thousands of people, a shit ton of equipment. Mixing desks. Apparently the BBC mixing desks were inadequate because rock music mixing desk had overtaken the BBC technically. So the bands had better gear than the broadcasters by this time, some of them. So here's the British side. And this is what I find fascinating when you look at it. As I say, it's that mixture of classic rock guys and very current 80s musicians. So
it was in the 80s, wasn't it? I mean, but like Sting, Phil Collins, and Status Quo were still huge in the UK. You know, I don't think Status Quo were ever big in the States. I'm not sure.
They weren't, no.
But they were, you know. But as you say, you know, Boomtown Rats were the Adamant, 80s pop, Ultravox, Spandau Ballet.
80s, Elvis Costello's pretty consistent, even up till now, still around. He was around in the 70s. Nick Kershaw, very 80s, an artist I like, but very 80s. Sadie.
The American lineup is more 70s rock, isn't it? You know, Perry.
So Sadie, whatever her name was. Sting and Phil Collins, who really just did solo things. There was no band, it was just piano or guitar. Howard Jones, who I also love as an artist, but was very 80s. Brian Ferry, U2, who made a big splash at this. I'm not a big U2 fan, so that's why they're not in the montage. Sorry, U2 fans.
But don't tell anyone.
Don't tell. But then
they just don't like Irish people. That's all it is to it.
Diddly potatoes. Rory Gallagher is better than U2. I'll say that right now. Then it entered the sort of the real classic rock guys: Dire Straits, Queen, Bowie, The Who, Elton John, Paul McCartney, and then the finale. So that was the British side. Now, some of these people, I think, were a little bit. Queen, as Bob Gill said, nailed it. Played the hits. Some of them played their latest single or something that was really. Like Adamant, who had a number of big hits in the early 80s, played his current single. Well, that's ridiculous. You know, you want to play hits. It was supposed to be a jukebox, not to promote your current thing. So there was a little bit of that.
I suppose they're catering to the sort of different generations, you know.
So generally speaking, and we'll talk about the good and the bad of this later. The American side seems to feature more people for some reason, but
a lot more.
And you can see the wilder variations in it. Now, there's much more focus on the American side on having African American artists, as a bigger part of it. The British side was a little bit paler. It was a much more diverse set. You had the final Duran Duran gig until they reformed years later. But you had the Thompson twins, for instance, very 80s. Madonna, who had a number of hits, obviously, but kind of made a big splash in this gig. But there's people there that have kind of like the Hooters. Well, as Courtney said, were they actually there? You know, Rick Springfield, it was popular at the time, obviously. George Thorogood and the Destroyers, who did a great set. Love George. Simple Minds, great Scottish band. So, but they were appearing in the American side, and yeah, some interesting names. But I've always felt that the finale of the American one was a little bit less exciting. Forgive me, Patti LaBelle and Hall and Oates. With Hall and Oates had Eddie, had the Temptations guys with them, and Eddie Kendricks, guys like that. Mick Jagger, not the Stones, and then Bob Dylan with Ronnie Wood and Keith Richards. That was, to me, was like Bob Dylan and Keith and Ronnie doing an acoustic set. They should have been hitting that with the hardest rock at that time to amp up the excitement, you know. So it was a little bit too Woodstocky at that point.
Yeah.
So that's the American side. But who were the acts that didn't perform? And this is 85. So there was some interesting omissions. So Michael Jackson, who I think was a big part of the We Are the World record, wasn't he? Is he not on
I'm
that?
not sure.
Because obviously you saw Lionel Richie fronting it there, but I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson was involved with that record. People in the chat will tell me. Prince, rumored strongly to be appearing. There was no sign of him. Bruce Springsteen, who Bob Geldof, when they started planning this, had said, "Oh, we're going to have guys like Bruce Springsteen." He wasn't there. And I mean, there may be perfectly valid reasons for all this. There's not knocking them. The Rolling Stones, whilst three of the Stones performed individually, didn't play as a group. They were kind of on the outs a little bit at that time. Mick was trying to do his solo career. Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Fleetwood Mac didn't perform. The Eagles didn't perform, although to be fair to those bands, they may well have been split up at that time. I think the Eagles probably were.
Yeah, right. They hadn't started their Hell Freezes Over tour yet. Yeah.
Aerosmith weren't there.
That Michael Jackson wrote "We Are the World."
Yeah, that's what I thought, but he wasn't at the gig. And Aerosmith didn't perform, but that's probably because they weren't aware of which decade they were in at the time.
Right.
Peter Gabriel didn't. Genesis as a full band didn't.
No,
obviously,
they didn't.
Phil Collins did.
A lot of them showed up. But,
Pink Floyd didn't. Again, not exactly on best terms with each other, but Dave Gilmour was playing when Brian Ferry's set. He was on lead guitar.
Right.
Yeah.
And the interesting one, I think, that it wasn't included here was Iron Maiden. I mean, they were up and coming stars at the time in '85, and had just released Power Slave.
Yeah, that's true. Neither were Def Leppard there.
True, yeah, they were right at the height of their popularity too.
Not everyone could be, of course, and then schedules and all sorts of things. Some of the bands were broke up. So.
Full program there, so maybe there just wasn't room for all these other acts.
Yeah, impossible to fit them all in. I wasn't knocking any of them particularly, but it's just interesting to see that list. I mean, if Michael Jackson had done it, that probably would have been phenomenal.
Oh, I mean,
He may have even topped Queen's performance.
Yeah, and it would have been talked about to this day. Prince as well, that would have been something else. But
yeah.
So I'm not knocking any of these guys as such, but it is interesting to see the ones that were not there. However, perhaps they didn't like Bob Geldof, well, they wouldn't be alone.
Yeah.
There's also
wouldn't be alone with Bob Geldof.
Yeah. There's also the fact that there was a lot of talk of the three remaining Beatles and Julian Lennon performing. That turned out to be a pipe dream.
McCartney was there.
Well,
he
he
saw
was
him
there.
in the montage, yeah.
And they did say, Geldof did say, we've got to have at least one Beatle here.
Mm-hmm.
George was pretty much a recluse by then, and he did one of the earlier things, which Mark will remember, the concert for Bangladesh.
Bangladesh at the Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
I almost went to that. In fact, a couple of the guys, we were on tour at the time with Wishbone, and Ted Turner went. Kevin Harrington, who was on our crew, he was a personal manager, and he also worked with the Beatles prior to working with Wishbone. So he managed to get some tickets for some of the guys, which was I was really a bit pissed off I didn't go, really. That was a great concert.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah, it would have been good. But Kevin Harrington, we did a show with Kevin Harrington.
Yes, we did. Yeah, good old Kev.
Good old Kev, yeah, good lad. Julian Lennon was a bit of a tool when I met him, says 11 Alpha. Well, he's in the music business, so
yeah.
Mark will know all about people who are tools in the music business. Well, you've met a few, I suspect.
Well, haven't we all?
All right, so what? I want to talk a little bit about memories of the day.
Some of the best people in the world as well. Not everybody's a tool in the music.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just jesting. Oh, I've met many great people, many great people. Some of them very famous people, and they've been fantastic. But so my memories of the day, and I'm sure people in the chat that are old enough will have theirs too, was I was absolutely super excited for this. I mean, a peak music loving era for me. And I was set up for the whole day. I did go to the pub for a while, and then I came back and watched. So I watched all the coverage, because the coverage on BBC TV started well before the gig.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of artists performed in the studio, like did little acoustic things or whatever. I remember Cliff Richard was one of them. Those people did stuff there. There are lots of interviews and backstage stuff. That's the stuff you don't see now unless you recorded it all. I did record it all on VHS throughout the day. I had 4-hour tapes in on switching them over.
Yeah, my dad did it on 4 hours too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, because you missed that one bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember sitting in my house at the time, watching it, fully stocked up with beers and stuff. And then going to the pub for a while, coming back, and then watching it right through to the very end of the American side. And then the little bit of coverage that came after that on. So it was really like almost a 24-hour watch.
Yeah.
In the end.
It was a lot.
I remember thoroughly enjoying it, even whilst being a little bit bemused at some of the crap acts that were playing.
Right.
I thought, well, there's certain people should be here and they're not. And why am I getting Sadie or whatever her name is? Yeah, she's a smooth operator, I suppose. Boom. So, and that was my experience of the day. So really just watching it on TV. Other people spent the whole day in the pub watching it. Now, Joe, you had a very different experience.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it till 2 weeks later. I was isolated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on an island 2 miles long, half a mile wide, big enough for an airstrip, bunkers on one end and housing on the other. I was guarding chemical weapons for the United States Army back then.
I thought you were in prison.
No, well, might as well have been. I was there for a year.
So I didn't cast it globally then. Didn't quite get to you then.
Didn't quite get to the middle Pacific, no. But my dad,
you don't have satellites there?
DJ, and he loves music, and I knew he was going to record it. He made copies of his recording and sent them out to me so I could show it to the guys. And we watched it over a few days. We didn't watch it all at once, but what struck me about it was Queen was phenomenal. I mean, Freddie had a solo career at the time, so that was a big thing, them getting back together. And the Led Zeppelin reunion, I mean, it took 2 drummers to make the sound of Bonham. They had Phil Collins and Toby Thompson doing it. And they did a great job, by the way. I thought they sounded awesome. But boy, I'll never forget the look on Jimmy Page's face. He was drooling playing the guitar. He was so jacked
Nothing
up.
new there.
Oh my God. You could tell he was on all kinds of shit.
Did his face look a bit frosty?
He's like, I mean, it was like he's leaning up against a wall that wasn't there the whole time, you know.
Well,
And,
that was Jimmy Page all
that
over.
was him
though.
all the time. I
it's
know, but I mean, I figured, you know, he was a little older. Maybe he'd slow down.
I
a
always
little bit.
admired
No.
the fact that he could
Just
play his
drooling.
guitar. His guitar was always down by his knees, which I always admired.
Robert Plant, every once in a while, he just looked like, what am I doing here? But he did a great job. They did a great job playing, but you could tell there was something going on there, you know, between the two of them. So, yeah, it was a great show to watch, man. And God, man, I don't think they'll ever match what they did that in that 24-hour period, putting that many bands together. And we only saw two of the venues. Because, like you said, they were doing gigs in Australia and Philly.
I remember particularly seeing the NXS stuff was broadcast into Britain at some point. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was no AC/DC. They didn't take part. Now that I think about it. Yeah. So you had a delayed experience, but when you saw that, was that a recording of the ABC or MTV? Or?
I think it was the MTV broadcast that recorded. I'm pretty sure. Because they had that, yeah, it was MTV.
Because they had a very specific take on the broadcast, as did ABC, as did the BBC. So they all had their different way of doing it. But there was an awful lot of cutting off and going to something else.
Yeah.
So you'd maybe see, particularly the American stuff, when you watched it, they would cut away from you, like you saw one Judas Priest song. You didn't see all three.
Really?
So I was like,
wow.
I don't want to hear you guys talking. I want to see the band.
Right. Come on, man.
Yeah. And now it's back to the studio so we can talk to Prince Charles or something. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big thing, man. That was a huge deal. It really was.
You're still doing that sort of shit with just the Glastonbury that just went by. The BBC were going from there, and it didn't even show the Neil Young set. You know?
Well, they just talk. They just want to talk backstage. Like, so
they
Mark
themselves the story. Yikes, man! Come on.
So you were in America. You said, Mark, watching it. Do you recall much hype about it at the time in the States?
Yeah, I mean, we're all expectant of it. It's a long time ago. I just remember getting up very early to watch it and tuning into Status Quo, kicking it all off. You know, rocking around the world, rocking all over the world.
Rocking all over the world. A great John Fogerty song, of course.
Yeah.
Kicked it off perfectly. Perfect choice for an opening song.
I promoted Status Quo back when I came back from the States in my little hometown here in the leisure center. They were brilliant. Yeah, so a lot of time respect for them. There's only one left now by the looks of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, Rossi's the only one still alive in the band. I think John Coughlin, the drummer's still alive, but he left years ago. But Rick Parfitt and Alan Lancaster died. Yeah.
And I was watching. I thought the Live Aid stage in the UK was brilliant because it was all in white. All the monitors were white. It just had a really fresh look about it, you know, and it was very contemporary. You know, the JFK Stadium one looks like a rock gig of the 70s. So,
yeah, it was
jumbled.
Technicolor. Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, just about.
There's it's a kind of clean look in the British one. Yeah,
it did have a really great look about it. You know, so I'm really proud of it. You know, the whole Rock Nation for putting it together. You know.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. I mean, nobody had done anything like this, and it was all rock music. It was like rock music was the cultural language of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, if you think that's a good way of putting it, Mark, and it was all rock guys, rock bands, promoters, technicians, thousands of technicians. I'm assuming.
Yeah, the British rock scene, was a community. I mean, all those bands were linked, you know, through Bob Geldof and all that. Everybody knew each other in all those bands, as they did in the States. But it's a different thing. But it's it's just, as you said, he was just pulling on favors and bullshitting his way to get everybody to sign up to it very cleverly. It was really great. And of course, my mate Mal Craggs was there with Phil Collins.
So let's talk about Mal, our great friend in the Rock and Roll Rowdies. Mal was indeed there. Mal at the time was working heavily with Phil Collins and Genesis. Well, not heavily, he was quite slim. He was Phil Collins' is kind of right-hand man, if you want to call it that. And Phil Collins, of course, did this, played a set in London, got on the Concorde, flew to the States, played a set there, then played with Eric Clapton, then played with Led Zeppelin. And then I think you can see him at the end bopping about a bit. He met Cher. Cher was on the Concorde, and he persuaded her to come along, and you can see her in the finale at the end singing. She wasn't meant to be there. So,
I was watching it, and all of a sudden there's Mal there.
There's Mal. So this is backstage footage at Wembley, and our great friend Mal is pointing Phil towards where the toilets are, I think.
That's the Sunset Market, I'm not sure. But
we got it in video.
I was tuned in, and then Phil Collins has done his set, and they've gone off to Heathrow. And the next thing is I see Mal and Phil walking across the tarmac.
Yeah.
Mal's carrying a briefcase, and they're getting on the Concorde, shooting off to JFK Stadium.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Incredible. So for those who don't know the Rowdies or Friends of Rowdies, Mal is the guy pointing. Mal Craggs, he's one of the Rowdies. Just an incredible history of tour management and road management, but he, at this point, working heavily with Phil Collins and Genesis. Here is the little video of that. If it'll play.
Where's the dressing room?
So without Mal's presence, Live Aid may never have happened.
Yeah.
Phil Collins would still be trying to find the dressing room.
Right.
What does he need a dressing room for? All he did was he went on stage in the clothes he was wearing and played a piano.
And drums. And drums again.
Well, not in Britain, he did. That was in Wembley. He didn't. He just wore his clothes he was wearing.
Well, Mal was telling me backstage in JFK Stadium that they're all back there and whatever, and then it was like, oh, out the way, look out, Madonna's coming through, and everyone, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Like big, big diva, and all the rest of the musicians are like, oh my god,
Yeah, not my cup of tea, but
yeah.
I believe she was popular on the day, and she did play with the Thompson Twins as well at one point, I think. I seem to remember the Thompson Twins played a cover of Revolution, but if I remember rightly. But here he is getting on the Concorde, which of course you could fly from New York to. Did it go to Philly or was it to New York?
I think it's Philadelphia, yeah.
So I went to Philadelphia, and I think was it 3 hours?
That's 3.5 hours.
So it made it work. You could do it, and then
you can't do that now.
No, you can't do that now. Although there's talk of getting supersonics back again, but
it was America that put a stop to it. Really, stopped us from flying over land supersonic. So
yeah. So there is, and then of course he did play with Eric Clapton and Led Zeppelin. Now, Led Zeppelin, there's some famously good and famously bad things at this gig. And I'm sure everybody in the chat has their own nominations. Smile X, Rock and Roll of the World, the perfect opening song by Status Quo. Obviously, Queen were fantastic. To this day lauded as being, and a lot of polls, this is nominated as the best rock performance ever by some people. I mean, everyone's going to disagree with that, but I mean, it certainly captured. You saw a band at its peak commanding a crowd. Like, it was just, I remember at the time thinking, that is not going to be top. That is incredible. They nailed it because they knew they had to play the hits and the right hits in the right order.
That was Radio Gaga, wasn't it?
Yeah, and everyone just ready, just working the crowd.
It's got to be the biggest audience participation.
That's right. As somebody mentioned, he did the vocal exercise thing. He did it at every gig, but he did it here. The sort of no.
I think that was Tim asking about
yeah,
that.
and that was something he was famous for at Queen gigs, but he did it here, and it just was the crowd just went nuts. And I thought we could do with another hour of that,
right?
Because he played the opening of Bohemian Rhapsody, then Radio Gaga. All the crowd pleasing stuff. Hammer the
Well,
Falls.
I just remember at the time he was solo. This was the first time he'd played with them in a few years, and he had left them seemingly at the height of their powers.
He wanted a little bit of a break, and I think he knew what was ahead in his future as well.
Right,
so,
he knew what was coming. I mean, he lasted till 91, didn't he?
1991. They never really split. They just kind of went off and did their own thing for a while, which is the way bands should do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not just split and flows off.
One more gig after this, but at Wembley Stadium again. Queen.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And that was it for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Wembley. Nebworth was the last thing. I was at that. The Nebworth they did, which was the last thing Freddie ever did with them live. I was at that Nebworth gig again. I could say I went to see Queen at Nebworth. I could see something in the distance, but I have no idea whether it was a stage or not. Yeah. But I mean, it's a famous, legendary, good performance on the day, because a lot of performances were hit by technical problems. Some were not great. Bands didn't rehearse. Whatever. The Who were both technical problems and, as Pete said, we rehearsed over the phone. So they didn't.
Wow.
They didn't really come across that well. I love the Who, but they were not good on the day. And then half their thing was missed because the cameras cut out. So, but Queen were lucky; they got everything right on that one. So Queen were one of the good ones, and I want to go back to the list we had of acts that performed in Britain. We'll talk about America too. Queen stood out, I think. I loved the Elvis Costello because he just did All You Need Is Love with an electric guitar and sang in these. I thought that was a really nice crowd pleaser. Dire Straits were pretty good. U2 got a lot of publicity out of this. Bono was all over doing stuff, getting a girl up from this crowd, whatever. I personally felt it was not as good as it could have been because they played one song for 12 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
I think they had two songs, and one of them bad. They played for like 12 minutes, which I think was a bit of a shame. Instead of playing two more hits, Dire Straits were pretty good. Queen, magnificent. Bowie was low key good too. On the day.
Yeah.
The Who, not so great. Elton John, I thought, meh, he was all right. Elton did the longest set. Elton's at every one of these things though.
Yeah.
Elton goes to the opening of an envelope. McCartney, such a shame because he came out and it's just the piano and him and he's singing Let It Be and his vocal mic didn't work. So you couldn't hear him. Now if you watch the footage now, they took another mic and they've added it onto it so you can hear him, but at the time nobody could hear him, so he's like, what's going on? He's
maybe the sound man was stoned.
It was Julian Lennon. It was, but eventually it came back in. But the good thing was that like Pete Townsend, David Bowie, Alison Moyet, and Bob Geldof came out and stood beside him and sang beside him. So it was a kind of a nice moment in the end. They did Let It Be. The Quo were great too. And then they had the finale, which has a ton of people on stage. It was not even people that were involved in these acts, but a ton of other people were on there too that were well known. So it was a really nice finale.
I can't imagine what it was like watching Queen from behind the Queen if you're David Bowie's band and just watching that set and then having to go on after it.
Yeah. I think they were,
how the hell are we going to top that?
That's right. I think they were lucky it was David Bowie because at least he gave it a go and wasn't bad. If it had been like a really shoddy Who set like it was, I'm sorry, but I know Vince is saying he loved the Who gig. I thought they were pretty poor on the day. Nowhere near as good as they were at the concert in Madison Square Garden for post 9/11. That benefit. That was the Who at their peak.
Yeah.
At a benefit thing, I think. So Pope, you're obviously a little bit younger. As a fetus, what did you think of the whole thing?
Well, I mean, the the acts I've seen from Live Aid were mostly fantastic. I've seen Queen, Dire Straits, Bowie, I believe, and Priest, Sabbath, and a couple of the other ones. And most of the ones I saw did a pretty damn good job with it. Priest, as much as it pains me to say it, not so much, but I think they were tired. They were in the middle of a world tour. So they're just like,
well, they're also wearing black leather in 110-degree heat. So.
Yes, they're just like, we'll come out and do our set, but that's about all you can expect.
Yeah, I think U2 was an interesting one. First of all, they opened with Sunday Bloody Sunday, which is as political as you can get, really.
Right.
In front of a London crowd.
Especially in England.
Yeah. Possibly a little bit calculated. I mean, a lot of people said it was a breakthrough performance for them. I'm not the hugest fan, but hey, I can get it. I get why people liked it. Yeah, the Status Quo were the perfect openers. First of all, they're super famous in Britain, but they played the right songs. And they were a great boogie band. So the American side, it wasn't even Sunday. It was a Saturday. They played Sunday Bloody Sunday. Yeah, the Who as a whole. I mean, it was great that they were there. You had the Who, you had a Beatle. In America, they had at least 3 of the Stones, but not together. They were missing no Kinks. There was no Kinks. No Kinks there. So the British, from the British invasion side era, there was nothing, no Kinks. But then you had the 70s stuff, Sabbath, Priest, and Zeppelin. But I am going to say that, so go to the American stuff, and there's more to cover here. Led Zeppelin, for me, were one of the famously ropey performances. I think it's like watching a train wreck.
Well, I mean, they hadn't performed together in 5 years.
Exactly. I don't think they rehearsed much either. Robert Plant's voice was a little bit rusty, shall we say.
Yep.
Jimmy, as Joe said, was
oh my God,
somewhat.
Yeah. When I say he was drooling on himself, I'm not kidding. He was.
I'd love to show all this stuff, by the way, but it would just be killed straight away. But if you do go to the Live Aid,
those are the other ones I've seen from the U.S. Live Aid. Tom Petty, George Thorogood, and the Pretenders, all 3 of which did really well.
So Live Aid's got a lot of stuff on their site, their YouTube site you can watch. But yeah, sorry, let me go hide that. So yes, so there is. Go back to this. So there's some good stuff on here. I mean, low key. Now I'm not knocking some of the ones I don't remember seeing. I don't remember seeing the Hooters or the Four Tops or Billy Ocean. I don't think they showed any of those, even in the British side, because the British side was still running at this point.
They were overlapped at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, I seem to recall.
You guys started first, but at one point they were overlapping. Yeah,
I think Priest were the first ones we actually saw for this whole gig. But you can see the Woodstock era hangover here. Joan Baez, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I'll probably count Neil Young out of that because he was at least still extremely relevant at the time. Bob Dylan, and that was with Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood. There was a bit of a Woodstock hangover.
Yeah.
Santana.
Yeah, he was there too.
Yeah, Santana. But as I recall, and as you said, Pope, I particularly enjoyed. Bryan Adams did a great set.
Yeah, I was not the biggest Bryan Adams fan, but he rocked the house, man.
He was brilliant. He played some great Summer of '69, Cuts Like a Knife, stuff like that. The Beach Boys were actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Even Brian Wilson sang a song and was into it. He was actually bopping around, and that's very unusual for post-60s Brian Wilson.
Especially with a giant audience like that. He was not a fan of live performances.
No, he was dancing around. He was actually enjoying it, which is weird. He sang it, Wouldn't It Be Nice? Because he famously didn't sing a lot in those days. He would just sit behind the piano like this. George Thorogood was great, and I loved seeing George there. Pretenders did a nice set. And that was the Pretenders lineup that had Robbie McIntosh.
Yep.
A couple of other really great guys playing. Tom Petty played a great set, and then you got into the Phil Collins stuff, so just the acoustic piano against all odds. The Clapton set was pretty good. Eric delivers at these things. He normally isn't, because
slow hand, baby.
He gigs really strongly, so he's not really ever out of shape. And then came Zeppelin.
Yeah, that kind of took the wind out of it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I was watching Phil Collins and Toby Thompson. Toby Thompson was the drummer for Robert Palmer's Power Station, if you remember.
I do, and they played as well without Robert Palmer.
Yeah, and wow, I mean, he was tearing it up, man. Both of them were. They did a fantastic job.
So Jimmy Page, because a lot of people slated that Zeppelin reading and said, "Oh, that was terrible. That was so ropey." Jimmy Page blamed Phil Collins for it.
Of course he did.
He did. He said Phil Collins didn't know how to play rock and roll. The song rock and roll. He said to us he could play everything we did, and he said he was just bashing away hitting anything, and he wasn't actually playing it because obviously he's got that great
right.
So he blamed him, but I think he's passing the buck.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, granted, if they're going to play rock and roll, you got to learn how to play it, and Phil Collins is easily good enough to.
Yeah,
but that doesn't absolve the rest of the band of their sins.
And I have to say, I kind of agree with Smiley. My memory of the stateside stuff is hazy. It was pretty late when it got into the good stuff here in the UK, and most of us were pretty hammered by that time.
Right? You guys have been partying way before we did, right?
That's right. So Tina Turner was pretty. I always loved Tina. I've seen Tina Turner live. She was phenomenal, absolutely brilliant. She had a great band. Neil Young, I don't even remember seeing it at the time. I don't think they even showed it in Britain. On the TV. Power Station, I remember, but it wasn't Robert Palmer.
No.
It was Michael DeBar was the singer. Yeah. Thompson Twins, who were very much of the moment.
Yes.
Hold Me Now.
Yeah.
Duran Duran playing their final gig until years later. Patti LaBelle, who, I'm sorry, Patti, but in the finale of We Are the World, you can hear her screeching above everybody. Sorry, Patti. I'm sorry, it was not good in the finale. That's just my opinion. Hall & Oates, who I love. Hall & Oates.
Yes, they're awesome.
I love them, and I was expecting more Hall & Oates. And yes, they did 2 Hall & Oates tracks, but then they brought on like Eddie Kendricks and the Four Tops guys or whatever, and did a Soul Set.
Yeah,
which is fine. I didn't mind that, but I wanted more Hall & Oates. Or even just Hall or Oates, as it would be now. It would be Hall or Oates.
Yeah, good luck getting those two on the same stage ever again.
Kenny Loggins, the Loginator.
The Loginator. Hey, man.
So Mick Jagger, who with Tina Turner for It's Only Rock and Roll, promoting, again, he was promoting She's the Boss, his solo album. Rather than playing Stones hits, he played It's Only Rock and Roll with, obviously with Tina Turner, which was pretty good. And then I thought, what are they doing at the end here? Bob Dylan,
yeah, you're trying to
doing an acoustic set with obscure folk stuff, protest stuff or whatever. I'm like, no, you should have finished with something rock.
In Bob's defense, he probably thought he was still at Woodstock in 1975.
He did, and then the finale, which I mean, people remember people in Britain saying, "Who are these people on stage? There, I don't recognize any of them." Right. It was missing a few potential superstars that could have been there, but it still was pretty good. I know I'm being kind of sarcastic here, but a lot of the stuff I never saw till years later because it wasn't shown at the time in Britain. I never saw the REO Speedwagon set, Rick Springfield, all that stuff. So, but Sabbath. So let's talk a little bit about Sabbath. I actually thought they performed really well on the day.
It was a little inconsistent, but overall their set was pretty good.
Yeah, given again that they hadn't played with Ozzy for a while. It was
79.
Yeah, even Ozzy was okay.
Yeah.
He opened with the Cape.
Yeah.
Dropped. Yeah. So they were pretty good. And it was nice to see metal bands playing about. Priest were phenomenal.
Yeah, they played a great set. And like I said, they were in the middle of a major world tour at the time, so they had to be exhausted. and just kind of.
Was that Screaming for Vengeance or
that would have been Defenders? Well, I forget what the name of the tour was, but it was Defenders of the Faith was the album they were supporting.
Okay, all right.
I just wanted to shout out everyone that's watching over in Rumble, by the way, right now. Vince Womack, who's holding down the modding side on there, as he always does. Thank you. And we've also got the Big Bad Wolf, and there are a few other people watching. Just click the like button, all that. And over on the Rowdies channel, Courtney is watching over there. Instead of joining us to give us her experiences, because I want to know what she was doing when all this stuff was happening. And in that very hot, it was hot that day in Philly.
I would imagine.
Hot. Yes. Even London was hot.
Wasn't it summertime when this happened? I can't remember the exact
July,
date.
13th of July. It was peak Philadelphia, hot and sweaty heat. So so in the chat, lots of people commenting on stuff. Queen's been mentioned. What, I mean, all those that were around and watched it or have even watched it since, what are some of the favourite things that you remember from it in the chat? Let us know. Or what are some of the things you thought were terrible? I like 11 Alpha. Never liked Bob Dylan, and every cover I've heard of All Along the Watchtower is better than the Dylan original.
Than the Dylan song, yeah.
May God forgive me, but I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's
Jimi Hendrix version is the best. I'm sorry.
I mean, I love his songs, but as a performer,
never really liked Bob Dylan outside of a couple of hits.
I like the songs, and they're great when other people do them, and I do like some of his material. The country material has been pretty good over the years.
I like his version of the Hurricane because, first of all, it's a real story, and second of all, he did a really good job of it.
There must be somewhere out of here.
Looking up,
I admit the guy's got songwriting talent, but
his songs are much better when someone else performs.
When somebody else sings them, say it, Pope. Preach,
so
sir.
Smilek says, I hadn't been laid at this point. I was into C64 games, comics, and nerdy films. Actually, most of these things are true today. Honesty is the best policy. I was 3, says Fun with Collecting, but I've rocked out to a lot of videos of Live Aid in my years. Unbelievable how many people attended it and how many it affected. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. But before then, like I say, I do have a goal. I have one of these goals in the chat. I've had 2 super chats. I'm trying to get to 5, and I'll share you some more puppy images of my little puppy.
I'm not doing it, man. I'm not doing it. I'm on the show. I'm not doing it.
I'm never asking you to do it. I wasn't asking you. Remember, you're a channel member.
I'm just messing with you.
so I'm just seeing if this goal thing works. I actually ran one last show, and it expired.
Worked.
It did work. I got the super chats, but the goal had expired before this.
That was funny.
I was not 3, says Lord Thoth. You could jump on 2, Thoth. I gave you're in the chat with the link. So, okay, legacy. So at the time, I mean, I remember the famine footage. It was horrific. It was. Yes. That's what spawned the hit singles, the charity singles.
Yeah.
And it did raise a lot of money. And I don't want to. I really don't want to get political. I really want to talk more about the music and the culture. But it did. Over the years, there were some accusations that maybe the money didn't go where it should have gone, and I don't think that's true. I think it's been disproven. I think this is one of the few charity events where I think the money actually got to where it was meant to go. I mean, unlike, say, Concert for Bangladesh, apparently very little of that money made it anywhere.
Wow.
It all went to paying off costs. This one, I think the fact that certain rock musicians were involved, like Bob Geldof and others, it wasn't like these NGOs where the stuff just seems to disappear.
No.
It made it there. I hope that's true. Because they
all did this for free. Every last one of them did it for free. They didn't charge them anything. But
really,
there's still a lot of cost involved in putting that kind of program on.
Phenomenal. I mean, the equipment involved, both the broadcasting equipment, the technical equipment in the stadiums. I mean, Mark will know what it's like to put one gig on and the one festival.
That had to be a nightmare, huh, Mark?
What about this one?
The venue costs, the security costs, there's costs involved, with anything like that. I mean, I'm sure they did a lot of merchandising, but merchandising wasn't the big thing back then. Not like it is now. But it's huge amount. So all those costs have to be covered somehow. They don't all offer it up for nothing.
But even the gear, where does the gear come from to do this kind of thing?
Brit Road probably supplied the PA, but they're going to want paying. Unfortunately, well, I don't know for sure, but yeah, there's huge costs in putting that on anything in a stadium like that.
And the planning involved. I mean, how do you plan? I mean, it's one thing to plan a festival where you maybe got 4 bands playing or 5 bands. This must be planning on a different level entirely.
A lot of it was done on the wing, I'm sure of it. I mean, they just had to be doing it on the day. I don't know who was stage manager, but it's like, go on, you do your 3 songs, you got 15 minutes, get off. Next, and minimum changeover time. But they pulled it off. It's brilliant. I mean,
it's impressive. I mean, from what I understand, it only he only had 10 weeks to put this together.
Yeah.
He did. They had 10 weeks, and him and Bob Gelb from Midyear did a phenomenal job.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Courtney, welcome to the show. We can hear you. You freeze a little bit, but we can hear you. Before we talk to you, though, and we are going to talk to you, I want to just cover these super chats. So Smilex for £2, £2 ilbs, £2. Oh, fine. Anything for puppies. You're a good man, Smilex. Thank you. That means you get a video. Show more videos. Here we go. You can have another band who was not appearing on the day. The great Bunny Carlos.
If he's got a cigarette hanging out his mouth.
Cigarette hanging out.
Yeah.
And we have another super chat from Fun with Collecting for $1.99. Goal! It's so just like all the best South American football commentary goes. You too, my friend, will get. I'm not uploading a video. We'll get another video. You can have another band who didn't perform that day. That's Joe's anthem.
Favorite band ever.
It's Joe's anthem, Dirty White Boy. So, thank you for Smilex Fun with Collecting. We need one more tiny, just teensy weensy slice of a super chat to make the goal, and you'll get to see some puppy pictures. I'm going to get the puppies out. Okay. So, before we continue to discuss the legacy of Live Aid, Courtney, how are you? Can you hear me?
I'm doing well, and I can hear you now. Hold on.
Good.
Am I too loud, though?
No, you're good.
No, you're good. And you have a puppy, too. Oh, bless.
You're talking about puppy pics, so I dressed him up. He looks...
Oh, bless.
He's got his pink bow tie on, though.
Beautiful.
Husband makes him look a little,
I'm going to make you bigger. I'm going to embiggen you.
Walter, say hi.
There she is.
Hey, Walter.
Hi.
Oh, beautiful.
Say hi. Yeah, we're in our hotel. He's already destroyed everything.
So obviously you were there. You're the only person on this panel, because Mal isn't here, that was there on the day.
I was there.
Tell me about your experiences and memories.
I actually remember a lot, which is funny, but my mom basically dropped my brother and I on a blanket. Like, my brother was in a stroller, and she told me to watch my brother. I don't know where she was.
I hope she put you down and didn't drop you. That would have been two different things.
I was 7. I mean, I was basically an adult by then in my family.
So that's your memories.
Yeah.
What do you recall about the music?
I remember, for some reason, I remember the big deal was like the Hooters. That's why I kept saying when it wasn't listed on the thing, I was like, I thought the Hooters played because
they did. They were second act.
They did. That was a big memory from my childhood because at one point my dad dated their manager, so we would see the Hooters all the time. So I knew their songs. You know what I mean? And also Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers. If anybody's heard of that band,
I don't. I've heard the name, but.
They weren't as popular.
So you were into the Hooters. I did scan as I was saying, I did look at the crowd stuff, and I did see a few Hooters, but I didn't see you.
I was saying in the chat before, you have to look very low because I'm watching my brother who's in a stroller and I look like I'm from Children of the Corn. I was that fond as a child. Just look for the like
How old were you?
evil-looking child, I guess.
Sorry, Mark's asking a personal question that you may not want to answer. How old were you? Range.
I was 7.
7.
I had turned 7 almost a little under a month before on May 15th.
Have you been like the ultimate rock and roll chick?
My whole life, yes.
We did watch your clip of you singing earlier. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, my whole life. My mom. I went to a lot of concerts starting at an early age because my dad was a Deadhead. So I was a dead baby. I always say, and that explains a lot about my brain being around all of that as a child.
So you're only 7. Were you aware of the whole background to these concerts and how they came about and the famine and the charity work and the singles?
No. Not until they had like the "We Are the World," video. And it was more like that. When I was at the show, I had no idea. It was just a concert.
It was pretty hot, wasn't it?
I don't really remember it being hot, but I also grew up like with no air conditioning. So
you were
that family that had
heat, right? Yeah.
Fan, yeah, and that was it. My mom didn't. I don't know. She didn't believe in air conditioning.
Did the Hooters play Satellite? That's what I want to know.
I don't remember. I just remember recognizing this.
I'm going to find out if they did. Hang on. I'm going to find out what the Hooters played because we need to know. The Hooters. They were the Hooters. They didn't play Satellite. I think that was one of their songs, wasn't it? Satellite. And we danced and all you zombies.
All you zombies. There's my 2 songs when I was a kid, so that's probably why I remember.
Am I wrong when I say the Hooters had a hit called Satellite?
I don't.
Am I thinking of a different band? Maybe I'm thinking of a different band.
Mommy's
going to buy you a Satellite.
I don't know. I don't know that one.
Somebody in the chat.
She Danced and All You Zombies. Those were like their 2 hits, so.
I don't know who had a hit with a song called Satellite.
Dave Matthews Band.
No, I've never listened to the Dave Matthews Band in my life.
I don't even think it.
Satellite music hit. I'm looking it up. Mama's going to buy you a Satellite. Yes, Mark.
I have to shoot off. I've got to go to an open mic session. So.
Well, Mark, thank you very much for representing the Rowdies and being here. I really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah.
Always good to see you, and thank you,
Mark.
Yeah, thanks for your memories of the day. Anything you want to plug?
Well, I've got stuff going on. Yeah, I'm going back on tour in September. I'm doing a few gigs around locally. Yeah, enjoying myself. So all good.
Good, mate. Thanks for being here.
All the best to you, and thanks for all the info. I didn't know half of that stuff, even though I was watching.
Neither did I, so it's okay.
Take care, Mark. It's great to see you as always.
Cheers, buddy.
All the best.
Bye,
see
Mark.
you, mate. Bye. So I'm pretty sure the Hooters had a hit with a song called Satellite, but
I don't remember. I saw them a bunch.
11 Alpha says it was. Hang on, Satellite. That sounds like I like the sound of that noise. Satellite Hooters.
I just found the video.
Hooters, Satellite Hooters. That was a big hit in Britain. Mama's going to buy you a Satellite. 1987. Oh, they couldn't have played it because it was 1987.
It was 87, sir.
Yeah, there you
go. They were singing their future hits already.
So
huge.
And Racy Wallace just subscribed. Thank you. And you got my little me as Mick Jagger thing there that comes up. Thank you for subscribing, Racy. Fun with collecting coming in hot and strong to reach the goal. $1.99 for Fun with Collecting. Hooters, puppies, and groupies. Oh my.
I am not a groupie though, just to make it clear.
No, you have groupies, but you are not.
I do.
So thank you for that, and obviously you'll get a little bit of a video to thank you, but then it's puppy time. After that, you're all going to get puppies whether you like it or not. Hang on, what we're going to play for Fun with Collecting this time? I think we have to go with another artist who's sadly not there that day either.
me dive. You've been down too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me?
If only Dio Black Sabbath had been there.
Wow.
I mean,
I had no idea Black
just
Sabbath
Dio
played back then.
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, they didn't show, as we were saying, they didn't show everything on TV, depending on which country you were in, which feed you were watching. So you could go watching the British feed of the American stuff, but they kept cutting away to people in the British studio talking. So you missed entire sets. And I'm sure it was the same in the American side. They would miss stuff on ABC or MTV. What was the MTV coverage like? I mean, I didn't see it, so people might have seen it out there. I don't know. I mean, it was the ideal place for it.
I don't remember. I don't really remember all the details of it, but you're right. They kept going away from the music and talking to people backstage and stuff. And yeah,
if only S Club 7 had been there. That's correct.
Right. I do remember that.
Well, we'll do some.
But I can tell you this: the Led Zeppelin reunion, they didn't cut away from that at all. They played the whole thing.
So here we go. I'm just about to show you puppies. So this is Ivy today. She's quite relaxed these days.
That's a very typical body position. I feel
With
like.
her new toy duck. She loves the birds. She loves chasing birds. So you get a toy duck. That's how you know a dog is comfortable in your house or in your yard, when they relax like that. Here she is looking for some friend in somebody else's garden. Little sweetie. And then she's saying to us, "Why are you not coming outside into the deck with us so we can play?" And I wanted to show you this too, this little video. Hang on. So this is what you get for super chatting. Oh, I'm trying to get a picture of her. She loves the canal, and she's not in it there. She's just going through the rushes, but normally she's in it, in the middle. She goes in canals, ponds, and it doesn't matter. It could be torrential rain. She's in them. Yikes. She's looking for birds' nests. That's what she's doing.
Careful, Ivy.
Yeah, she wants to swim, but she doesn't quite swim yet. She just walks in them. There you go. That's my life right now. That's why this show's not as well produced as some of them. I say that. I also wanted to show you this. This is a bonus. I've got my Canon Film Club T-shirt. I've also got to do all the Korean content. This is my good lady wife modeling my Korean content avatar on a T-shirt. I think it's pretty damn smart. Goes on the front too. So with the dog hairs not included if you buy one.
Dog hair is not included. My wife, she told me that her motto was "Dog hair, don't care."
Dog hair, don't care. Exactly.
Dog hair, don't care.
I just gotta kick Mark out because he's still there. There we go. So that was the puppy interlude. Thank you very much for the super chats, everybody. I want to go back to talking about. Oh, jeez. Hang on, I got too many windows open. The cultural impact of it. So enormous benefit gig, very successful benefit gig. Some people see it as like the high watermark for classic rock events of this kind. Yes, there have been subsequent ones, such as Live 8 and a few other things, but is the day of this kind of thing over? I mean, could you do this now? Would even people watch it now? And don't forget, they had no internet then.
I don't think a lot of people would really have the interest in it that they had back then, because there's no modern bands that have the draw of these guys at this time.
Yeah, this is it. Who would perform today in an equivalent gig, even if they could do such a thing and have 2 billion people watching?
I mean,
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift.
Well, it would be 2 million minus 1.
Yeah, but yeah,
Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, Kanye West.
Bruno Mars, I could see.
Gaga.
You could take I was going to comment, just even festivals like Punk in the Park was this weekend in Denver, and the crowd there was enormous. I mean, it was the biggest festival. It was bigger than when I went to like Lollapalooza. It was huge in the 90s. So, I mean, there's definitely, I feel like there's kind of stuff like that. When I knew this 20 years ago now, but Live 8, when they did that was packed. I went to that one too.
Yeah, and that one did have a global reach and had a lot of big, sometimes even bigger acts playing, like the Pink Floyd for the last time kind of thing. Last time with Roger Waters anyway. I don't know. I just think that the days of those days, television, it's a television event. Television was still something. Now the internet has fractured everything. Could you even gather enough people in the world at one time to watch something like that? Or would it just be too splintered? I'm watching it on this, I'm watching it on that. I'll see it later on this. I just get the feeling that it was an event that it kind of united the globe. I don't know if you could do that now.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, if you advertise it as like, this is the only time this will be streamed or something, yeah, people could record it and pirate it or whatever, but people could do that back in the day too. That would maybe be a way for people to watch it all at once, but it would be pretty much,
Yeah, I just think that the zeitgeist then, it seemed to suit such an event. I'm not sure now that, I don't know, it's maybe just me, and especially with there's a lot of disillusionment around celebrity.
Yeah, social media has
social media
really taken the shine off a lot of celebrities. So, you're right about that. A lot, they may have some great music, but they've said something politically that somebody doesn't like. They may not see them. They may not put the money out for it.
The technology is better. For sure.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Technology is better.
Could they do it? Yes. Are you going to get that many people? Everything's so niche now. I mean, look at how many different streaming services there are and things like that. I don't know that you could get those kind of numbers again.
Yeah, I mean, Courtney, you mentioned some acts. I agree, they're super popular. Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift. I know that I would not be particularly interested myself in watching such an event, but then it's hard to think of how many. Hard to think of how many rock artists would even draw that now, because they're all dying.
You look at,
I can't even find rock and roll.
Ozzy, just the last thing. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go on, Joe.
No,
I was going to say, if you look at like Ozzy, that last thing, if you get people, you can get a good mix of people.
That stirred up a lot of interest. That finale, Black Sabbath finale gig. Oh, the good point. I should have spelled Ivy. The Ivies, the Badfinger. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not saying it couldn't be done, but I just think there's a fracturing in people's tastes now, which may have splintered too much to make a global event. It's
all niche now. It's all all different types of stuff. And look, as far as rock and roll goes, I mean, I have to listen to Midnight Mass to hear new rock and roll.
Oh yeah, I know. Me too.
I mean, really, you can't get it on a local radio anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
all they got's classic
rock. I barely get to the tip of the iceberg when it comes to new rock and metal stuff. Like, I find what I can, but
I mean,
but you got to look for it, right?
You got to go out of your way to look for it.
Yeah. Like,
until the day I was making the playlist for the show, I didn't know Amon Amarth had released a new song.
Yeah. Right.
And they'd released it 3 days before.
I did. Smilex has got a good point. Even the last Glasgow lineup was a bunch of forgettable artists. Go back just 10 years, and the lineups were full of legends. I think so. It just doesn't seem that the artists are there now that a lot of the older ones are dying off. The classic rock ones. There are still popular individual artists like the ones that Courtney mentioned. Are they popular enough to sustain a global charity concert event of that kind?
I I think that people like Taylor Swift and who's the new girl? I don't know any songs by her, but like Sabrina Carpenter or something. I think her name is.
So you got it right.
Is that her
Sabrina
name?
Carpenter. Yep.
Even someone like
Karen
Coldplay.
Carpenter would be better.
Coldplay.
Well, Coldplay would be good, but there's too many.
Radiohead.
Coldplay would be good, but there's too many marriages at stake.
Yeah, right. They're outing too many people. They are.
I don't know, but you say Radiohead. I don't know if Radiohead. Are they really though? They were huge in the 90s.
Oh no,
Mark,
they're
what's up?
They're
man?
still a big thing. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Mark D with the C. Thank you for joining us, Mark. We're talking about whether such a thing could be done today, and also the cultural legacy of Live Aid. But you're obviously not as old as me. But have you any memories of the event?
I do. Yeah. And I've been lurking for a while, so I had to, get out of work, and so I've been listening. And great show so far. And
well, thank you, mate.
Yeah. So, this was this was summer, right? This was summer, and I remember watching this in college.
July 13th of July, 1985. Can you believe 40 years ago?
Yeah,
That's
it's just
crazy.
nuts. So I just remember watching it with college buddies, and it was on MTV. Wasn't it on MTV all day?
Yes, it was.
MTV, I think ABC carried it in the US as well. Britain, it was
Yeah.
BBC all the way.
BBC all the way. Yeah, and I remember there was some controversy over, looking back at like the rights for the music, and I think MTV, a bunch of the guys saved a lot of the clips that they were originally supposed to erase, and a lot of stuff didn't get erased, thankfully. So, because all the the rights issues that you guys were talking about, how difficult this is putting together. But I just remember this was a massive deal.
There were some enormous rights issues, which is why certain performances couldn't be seen until years later. Other artists said, well, it's like Woodstock as well. So that happened at Woodstock. The artist said, I was crap. I don't want my stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
But the amount of extra footage, because it's not just the concert performances, a lot of the TV stuff was worth preserving, and you don't see that now. All the interviews.
Yeah,
there was
behind the scenes.
People played in the studio with acoustic sets and stuff in Britain anyway, and probably the same in America. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, which made it, when you watched it live, special because it was cutting to and from that stuff. Now you just see the music performances. You don't get the whole feel for everything else.
Yeah, because that was a big event. So like we all got together and grabbed, had a bunch of beers and like we're watching, Live Aid. And I don't think did we watch the whole thing? I mean, it was just on for so long, But of course, you guys were talking about Queen. What an amazing performance that was.
Yeah, I'd love to show all that, but I showed the montage and it had a little clips I could get away with, but you can't show the whole thing.
I just remember. Yeah, Queen was amazing. Led Zeppelin, it was a big disappointment in terms of their music quality. Just we're all psyched to hear Zeppelin. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. The Who was bad, like you said. Just had an off day. But Phil Collins coming over across the pond.
Yeah,
I mean, that was huge news.
Phil Collins was perfect for Concorde because it was quite a small cabin, so he was very short. He could fit in it quite easily. I wanted to just say thank you to Christian, who's put us +1 on the goal. 6 super chats we got. Thank you very much, our great friend Christian, who's met Ivy, my puppy, in person because he was here.
Nice.
So thank $5 for Christian. Okay, I want to see those puppy pictures. Well, I could show you them again. It could be done. There's Ivy. I forgot to mention her name is Ivy.
Is she poison? No,
she is. Well, ibuprofen.
Well, Christian's had the honor of meeting this dog, I believe.
He has. Christian was here and has met Ivy. She's now, she's almost 5 months old. Loves to swim. Won't listen to us too much. Well, she does, but she gets obsessed when she's out and decides to ignore us. She's usually pretty good for a puppy. She's great. Sleeps all night, which is great. She's getting trained upstairs by my good lady wife. I can hear her right now. And this was me attempting to train her with a toy the other day. She loves to play, as all puppies do. I like to take her toys from her. I'm a big bad man.
Right, go, sit down, sit. Good girl. Good girl. Who's a good girl?
She said, give me back my toy, you brute.
I do see how short you are now. I never knew you were shorty. I didn't know
I'm
that.
5'7.5" on a good day. So that was for Christian, because we showed those before. Well, that was for Christian. Yeah, so Zeppelin were pretty poor. Yeah, I mean, did you watch it on MTV, Mark?
Yeah, I watched on MTV, and you guys were talking Hooters before, and I love Hooters, the Hooters, and
We all love Hooters.
they played my college actually. So then I remember, whenever a band is there, you listen to all the songs, and yeah, I mean, and actually they wrote "Time After Time" that Cyndi Lauper made a massive.
Oh,
hit.
really? Yeah.
So that's
I
the
did know
Hooters.
that actually.
Yeah. So "Time After Time" is the Hooters.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually. I did not know that.
Wow, I knew something about music that you didn't know.
I know that Chris. I know.
Flip this
I've
up
got
one
a very, very tiny bit of trivia about Cyndi Lauper, which is a favorite band of mine, which I did a video on of my Underlooked bands, called City Boy, from the 1970s, British rock band. Their guitar player Steve Broughton quit performing and became Cyndi Lauper's A&R man, masterminded her career. So City Boy, check them out, great British band. And a hit with 5705. Old people might remember that hit.
Mark will appreciate this, that was one of the first Funko Pops that I bought. It was Cyndi Lauper.
Really?
I think it's Time After Time, like vinyl looking behind it. It was one of the scene ones. Yep.
Yeah, they played it in concert at our. Yeah, they played Time. I'm like, wait, you stole Cyndi Lauper's song. Like, no, we wrote it.
So
it sounds like they would have written it. It's got their sound. That makes sense,
I didn't see. I never knew that. That's a great piece of trivia. Thank you for telling me, because now I can't not hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right?
when
when you go back, then you listen to some Hooters, and they had some great songs. Yeah, so good stuff.
Hooters sound like the German version.
The other big concert I was at was the day after my senior prom, was the Amnesty International concert. We should do a show on that and get some info on that show. And there was a series, I think, of 6 shows, and I was at the final show at the Meadowlands, and that was the last time the Police were together for many years until.
Yeah, well, they sprang out of a series of British annual gigs called the Secret Policeman's Ball.
Yep.
Which was about a mixture of comedians and rock artists. These benefit gigs for Amnesty International. There were some great performances on those, which are hard to get. Yeah,
it was all day. It was all day, and I was finding I found the set list, and some of the videos are on YouTube, but it's a little bit more obscure show. But I think that was in response to that was before Live Aid, actually. Right? Yeah, that would have been after Live Aid. Was what year? What year?
85.
85. Number of 85.
Or was it just after that? Okay, so
you were 15 at the time, Mark.
Yeah, no, I was.
I'm just kidding.
He was in college. He was at least 17. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He was just 17, if you know what I mean. I wanted to just point out that the Live Aid YouTube site has an awful lot of the music material. Not everything, because there are some hard to get performances. Like that Bryan Adams clip I had of Cuts Like a Knife is actually one that's very hard to get a copy of for some reason. Some of them are just not in there. So there's all sorts of great stuff on here. You can look up some of the great performances. I'd love to play them. Well, there's is that Brian Ferry? He had Dave Gilmour on guitar. But so that's all. A lot of that stuff's on there. There's also another great site which Bob Geldof has a personal collection of 2,000 images he donated to the National Library in Ireland. Images that belong to him. Sorry?
Was he one of the organizers?
Bob Geldof, he was the main guy, Bob Geldof.
Oh, he was.
And Midge-Ure. Bob Geldof and Midge-Ure. So all these pictures are now available online. I'll get to show you the site in a minute. There's McCartney and David Bowie. So this is all his personal stuff. Personally, there's Midge-Ure, the great Scotsman who co-organized the whole thing. And he's short too. Nothing wrong with short guys.
Tim was saying in the chat too, Bob wanted the masters destroyed. And he said, which makes no sense that they should have given them to the Library of Congress. Yeah.
Indeed. So I'm just trying to find the actual... I had it bookmarked. So if you go to the National Library of Ireland online, they have all these images indexed, and you can search through Bob Geldof's ones, and there's some great backstage stuff, some different angles of people live playing, and I thought I'd bookmarked it, and I don't see it.
Maybe you clip Live Aid archive
Uh,
in the hyperlink down below in the middle of the article.
Well, it did. It just goes to another article.
Oh, just another article. Yeah. Oh, well.
There was Bob Geldof and Margaret Thatcher, which must have been an interesting conversation. I did have it, and yet it's gone.
I hate it when
Isn't
links
that weird?
disappear.
I hate when that happens. Oh, here it is. Sorry, here it is. So I'm gonna. So I'd urge people to check this out because there's some fascinating photographs on there from backstage with all the different artists mingling. But I also love the way that they've indexed them. They've got 3 men standing together is the title. Well, you don't know who they are. It could be anybody, you know. This is full of stuff like this. This is one of Bob Geldof's photographs from afterwards. Little bit of garbage to clean up at Wembley.
They should look together with these photos.
So it's National Library of Ireland, but you can search by artist and so on and so on.
So you donated the rights to all those to the
I guess so.
Yeah.
This is JFK Stadium audience before the concert. Courtney is sitting round about here.
I was there. I was probably, let's see.
We're in the front row.
No.
Yeah. So that's full
I
of
was
that.
somewhere in the middle of a lot of people there. So I remember my mom left, and I was watching my brother on a blanket.
So
people wouldn't let you do that today. They would have called.
No.
Would have whipped out their cell phone and said, "Yeah."
I remember dancing with people a little bit. Like I was a little, I don't know. I was kind of the same as a kid. I was way out there.
The Hooters. Let's see if I search for the Hooters what I get.
Yeah.
Be
careful when you search for Hooters, though.
Hooters, yeah. I don't think it's a very good search on the site because it's not doing anything. This is Daryl Hall singing and John Oates playing guitar on stage with the great G.E. Smith on lead guitar. The great G.E. Smith, the lead guitarist, fantastic guitar player.
He played for Saturday Night Live for many
That's
years,
right. He was on their house band for years. So that's that is 2 sites well worth checking out if you want to look at more Live Aid stuff, because we're going to hurtle towards the end of the show soon. I guess I would love to just play a little bit of Queen, but we're just going to get absolutely hammered.
Yeah, especially Queen.
Right.
Yeah, that one gets.
Right away.
Pause.
That's so recognizable.
So the Live Aid site on YouTube's got the best quality versions you get of the available stuff. What you have to find elsewhere is all the TV stuff from the different presenters and interviews and all that other stuff that went on. It's well worth checking out.
I do miss stuff like that. You know, like when they would have like, just even like the MTV Music Awards, which the award part I didn't like, but like when Courtney Love like came up and bombarded Madonna during an interview, like, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
you catch
that's
on
right.
camera. I miss seeing stuff like that.
But if you just go to Radio Gaga, for instance, see the absolute power of Queen at their peak. What a band! And I saw them the gig they did not long after this for at Nebworth Festival, and it was just magnificent.
I just found out that.
Well, so the movie pissed me off so much.
That one of my favorite punk band. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say that they hadn't broken up, and you guys were saying that, and then it wasn't. They made it a big deal about AIDS and stuff, and it was all fabricated for the movie. It was like, come on.
Here we go. This is
I just found out that one of my favorite punk bands, a song that they do is a Queen song. I had no idea.
Which one is it?
On 1939.
Oh, 39 from Night of the Opera, yeah. Which everyone thinks it's about the war, and it isn't. It's a science fiction story about.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
I was like, that's Queen?
But yeah, Queen absolutely nailed it, and I wish we could play more of that stuff. If we're on Rumble, just exclusively on Rumble, we could. But
it's like
Did you find
this
any of
version
the
of Radio
Who's?
this version of
I
Radio Gaga and the same version of Hammer to Fall have to be two of their best live.
Hammer to Fall's brilliant live, yeah.
Especially that tone Brian put on the guitar for it. It was just brilliant.
It's raunchy. It's very raunchy. Let's see if we can find the Hooters. As you say, searching for Hooters online is not.
Yeah, I was like, this could be a dangerous episode.
I didn't even know they.
In regards to Queen, one of my favorite bass lines of all time from Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh God, great! Yeah, so the Cars played. Drive became a hit single after, even though it's very. The subject matter of Cars is about the Drive is about a mental breakdown, but for they cut it together in Britain. The song with images of the famine, and people it was like heartbreaking. Had Billy Connolly crying in the studio or whatever. Somebody had edited it together. So the Cars put Drive out again as a single. It became a massive hit again with all the proceeds going to Live Aid. Even though the material is nothing, the subject of the song is nothing to do with the famine, but it just worked, you know. Now, I don't see the Hooters on here anywhere, so...
I just wanted to see if there was any pictures of David Ethiopian, or however you say his name.
So my search for Hooters failed miserably. But yeah, anyway, check that site out because it's pretty good. It's got a lot of good stuff. There's the Boomtown Rats. I saw the Boomtown Rats live in 1980.
Oh, lucky.
Yeah. Anyway, that's why I just thought I'd plug the official materials that are available. Go check them out. Yeah, so 40, it's hard to believe it's been 40 years. It was a big day for me and other oldies like me when it happened. I remember distinctly it was a very exciting day. The audience, the public reaction was magnificent. The audience reaction in the stadiums was magnificent. And it left to me a big cultural legacy that rock was the cultural language of the world. That's my takeaway.
It is.
Yeah. More so than any previous iteration. In Woodstock, it was still a fringe thing, even though it was a big event. By this time, classic rock and the rock artists and pop artists there, it was the language of the world by that time. So that's just my view.
Yeah, unfortunately, rock is, it's like Joe was saying, you can't find a rock station sometimes.
Yeah, you can't.
And these Super Bowl halftime performances, like "Get Off My Lawn," I'm like, "Get off my lawn," but they're just, the musicians are just so horrible. I mean, I guess it's just me, maybe, but I just can't stand rap music. I'm gonna get canceled now, but it just, and you listen like all the old commercials.
It's cancelled.
Oh.
Sorry, you got cancelled.
What happened?
You just got cancelled.
I like rappers to like, yeah, but it's just.
You don't like Run DMC?
Well, I like Run DMC.
I just can't take it. Maybe I haven't listened, and I know people love it, but it's just not for me. But I can't imagine like a concert today with who's really prestigious, like you said, like Taylor Swift, or everything is so fractured now too. So maybe that's good and bad.
I mean, imagine Taylor Swift and Lady Gaga arguing about who should go on last. That's what would happen. I mean, anyway. The Coldstream Guards performed. That's right, 11 Alpha. They did perform it at the very beginning when they introduced Prince Charles. And also somebody mentioned the two cops that introduced Queen were actually Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones from Not the 9 O'Clock News, British comedians. There's tons of stuff like that just little bits and pieces that if we had 12 hours, we'd go into. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, though. You've been a magnificent chat. And I got to show my puppies off to you. My puppy. Thank you.
Between the two of us, we showed some puppies.
We did. Courtney and I shared puppies today.
Amazing. Amazing.
So I would like to thank the panel for being here, first of all. You've all, and Mark, who was here earlier. Thank you very much, Mark, for representing the Rowdies. Joe, thank you for your memories. What would you like to inform us of in the near future?
Well, I've got the game stream here at 6:30. So you guys come watch me mess up Mass Effect 2.
You don't finish that damn game yet.
No, I'm on part 15, man. You know, what can I do? Look, I've got Martin Acosta Santana from Pop Culture Minefield, and he has me play every damn storyline in it. So yeah, it's
you got to. It's a great game full of great content.
It is. Look, I've never played it before. I'm enjoying it. Look, I wouldn't play the second one unless I enjoyed the first one, right?
Indeed.
So,
good for you, mate. Well, check.
I'm getting a little tired of Miranda and her bullshit. So
slap her ass then.
She's not giving me a chance, bro. But that's just the way it is.
Well, check Joe out. Check Joe out. D-Bud Martin's dropped the link for that. Thanks, D-Bud. Check Joe out.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for being here, man.
And look, as far as Live Aid goes, we're never going to see that again. We're never going to see anything like that ever again.
I don't think so.
You asked the question earlier. Now, I mean, yeah, there are people out there that could headline it, but do you really think that Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift are going to do a show together? No, they're not going to. They make
unless they get paid.
Yeah. They'd never do it for free.
We say that they may, but I think I just don't think it would work now. That's just my opinion for various reasons, but not to say they're not popular. Thanks, Joe. Pope, thank you for being here. Obviously, your memories as a fetus of the event were very. How did it shape your life?
Technically, the timing's wrong. I was going to say, like, I may or may not have been conceived about this time.
You're that young.
Yes, it's terrible, Courtney, isn't it? It's terrible. Thanks for being here, mate. I'm sure over the years you've heard a lot about Live Aid and watched a lot of stuff. So,
yeah, and all my favorite bands that I knew were there, I actively searched out their Live Aid performances and tried to find them if I could. And a lot of them just did a phenomenal job. Like we said, some bands not so much. Led Zeppelin was pretty disappointing, but there were some absolute gems in there, and I would highly recommend everyone go out and find as much of this concert as you can, because it really was a special event. And not only, a country's history or a genre of music, but human history.
Yes, and it's one of the major events of 20th century history for sure, not just music, in my opinion. But somebody mentioned that Dan Aykroyd was there. Well, the one weird thing about the American gig, just before we continue, was people were introducing people. So you'd have someone come on and say, I'd like to introduce Marilyn McCoo. And then Marilyn McCoo would come on and introduce the Beach Boys. So there were people introducing, which was weird. But anyway, Pope, thanks for being here, mate. Anything you want to plug?
Well, if you guys like the music stuff, especially the heavy metal stuff, you can catch me over on my Rumble channel every Saturday night at 11 Eastern for Midnight Mass. The three of the people on the panel listen regularly, I know, at least.
Yep.
And I do go out of my way to find either more obscure stuff or a lot of newer stuff that people haven't heard yet, because a lot of these bands are not on like we said, not on the radio anymore. You can't find them unless you're looking for it. So I'm happy to go out there and try to find the ones I like and put them up here for people. Other than that, we have a new endeavor going called Bonded by Metal on YouTube, featuring myself, our host 70s Rock Fan, Nick Weiser, Imperatus, and Disciple of Rock, and frequent special guest probably, where we all get together and talk about the heavy metal genre and all different aspects of it. Again, I've come up with the idea of maybe floating a metal news show once a week or once a month of, who's coming on tour, who's releasing albums, who's doing interviews, that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll join me for all that. And thanks for having me.
No, it's our pleasure,
I just
mate.
subbed to that channel, by the way. I just found out about that.
Bonded by Metal. D-Bud's posted the link. Everybody check it out. Courtney, thank you for sharing your memories of the day with us, as you were the one of us that's in this chat that were actually here. Anything you'd like to plug?
Am I the only one that was actually at Live Aid?
Yeah, I just watched it on TV.
That's amazing.
I was watching it on TV. Yeah.
That's really funny. That's amazing, actually. Whatever I'm on, I post on Twitter. So I guess if you follow me on Twitter is probably the best way to find out whatever I'm doing. But I'm always along with this guy, if I'm pointing the right direction, on Sunday nights with you.
Yep.
And the Brian. So.
Oh, thanks for being here, Lance.
It's
always an absolute pleasure to have you on here, and it was exciting because you were there, and that's quite unique. So glad you could make it.
Yeah, I was there, and I remember. I don't know. It's weird memories for me, but I have to say I'm very jealous being in a hotel room with no background. You guys all have like the coolest backgrounds right now. It's not.
I don't know. I thought you faked that background just to make it look like a hotel.
Oh, it does look like if I'd taken the blanket off.
A virtual background.
Yeah.
So cheers, Lance. Thanks for being here. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Mark, thanks for dropping by. And what would you like to plug, my friend?
Oh, sure. A lot of FF this week. So the new amazing Fantastic Four movie is coming out Thursday. It's going to be the biggest, hugest, best thing ever with the new female Silver Surfer that never existed in comics except for like 2 panels. So people were telling me about that. People were telling me about, but she was in the comics. And I'm like, gee, I mean, do you have 20,000 comic books in your basement? They look at me like I'm crazy. So, anywho, I hope it's a good. I hope it's good, but whatever. But yes, I'll be on hopefully after that on Midnight's Edge After Dark, talking all things FF and Pedro and everything good. And then of course Sunday Night Geekery, come hang out over there. It's great to have you guys on there once in a while. Courtney's.
I would make it there if I wasn't so knackered from having this puppy work.
Yeah, it's late. Yeah,
I just want to get to bed at the end of the night.
We always appreciate Courtney giving us a view from the street or going to the store or checking out action figures for us or
South Park
Target
Town.
or whatever. yeah. So Sunday night,
it's a great show. It's a great show,
Yep.
everybody. Well, thanks for being here, mate. Thank you to everybody who was watching on Rumble, and thanks to Vince for modding over there. Thanks to anyone who was watching on Twitter, because we were going out in there. Thank you to the mods here on the YouTube side, D-Bud Martin, as always, the mod of mods, doing a superb job. Thanks to Vina for doing modding work too, and anyone else that's got a wrench that was helping out. Appreciate you all. Thanks for the super chats, everybody. It does help me keep the lights on here. And thanks for all the other chats. You were all totally engaged today, giving us your opinions, and I loved it. Thank you. That's what makes this show so fun to do. Otherwise, we'd just be talking to ourselves in an empty room. So thank you all for being there. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click the like and all that crap that they tell us to do.
Comment afterwards too.
Comment. They tell us to comment. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, and comment, etc. And there was a new subscriber. Thank you for the new subscriber we got earlier. I wish I'd flagged up the name again because I'm one-man band, so I forgot. I think we're up to something like 2,140 or something. It's not too bad.
Right. It's not because you're a one-man band. It's because we're all getting old and we forget.
Yeah, right. By the way, Mark was talking about Fantastic Four a lot down there. You know what's synchronicity about this Friday, the premiere? I turned 60, and that was the first comic book I ever read was Fantastic Four.
Oh, wow. Well, happy pre-birthday.
Cool.
Yeah, but I'm like you. I'm like, oh God, please.
You're not gonna. Well, I took all my friends to see the Green Lantern movie for my birthday in June years ago, and they all, for some reason, still get pissed off about it and yell at me about it. They're freaking movie tickets. I didn't buy their popcorn.
Sorry, you didn't make the
cost
movie.
you anything. Leave me alone.
I forgot to say thank you to anyone who was watching on the Rock and Roll Rowdies channel, which this is also going out on today. And R.I.P. Clobby, absolutely. And, always R.I.P. our great friend Clobby. I don't know if I'll ever do a stream on the concert for Bangladesh, but if I'm still alive a few years from now and doing these shows, it probably will happen. As for me, probably be in Comics Division later tonight again if I don't collapse with exhaustion after puppy walking 4 hours a day. I had talked about doing Back to the Beach as a show next week, and that may still happen. I'm kind of short of time for in real life stuff, but that may happen. If that doesn't happen, I would be doing a gaming stream, but I'll let everybody know as soon as I can, and I'll obviously be popping up here and there doing this stuff. Check my shorts out every day. I do a short on the record for my collection.
I don't want to check the shorts out, bro.
Eat my shorts. And I'd like to welcome to the show, just as we're closing the show, my friend Dr. Jones, who has a
Late to the
channel.
party.
Who's a channel. Great channel and did a great interview with me, and I'm very appreciative of it. So, Dr. Jones, tell us all about your channel.
Yeah, I'm using my cell phone because for some reason my audio doesn't. I'm trying to figure out my mic, so hopefully you can hear this.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should use my cell phone from now on. What a great podcast! I wanted to jump in so many times. You know?
Thanks, mate, for it. Well, you're welcome to join any show going forward. You're in the group, so you're in the
part
club.
of the group. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Check out Dr. Jones's channel, everybody. I'm sure we'll find a link to it somewhere to post.
Oh, don't worry, those guys are all over it.
Yeah, but if not, I'll
will
make
check
sure.
it out because I don't think I've ever seen him or met him. So, hello, nice to meet you.
Dr. Jones, meet the people.
Hello, people.
I'm the token female.
You're the token female.
Yeah, but you're a pretty good one, so you represent well. Yeah. But I do have to go. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, mate.
I thought about one band because I was like on a 7-minute delay. The Killers. If you could get the Killers, maybe they would get a global audience. I actually went to high school with one of the members, so
I'm a big
Killers,
the Killers.
And Oasis. Whoever said Oasis in the chat too, because they just got back together. That was another big one.
Yeah, D-Bud's posted the link to the channel. Check out the interview that we did together. We had a lovely chat about music, and we're going to do more stuff.
Right.
So check Dr. Jones out, and yeah, you're welcome to join us anytime, mate. So, fresh
using
blood,
the cell phone.
fresh blood, fresh meat. A new victim.
All right.
I gotta go.
Another music person. That's
Another
what
music person. Thank you, everybody, for being here with this show. It was a lot of fun. We will see you all again very soon. Till next time, stay well, don't skip your meals, and keep on rocking.